Ano ai ke aloha ia kākou. Thank you for joining us today. In just a few moments, Governor Josh Green will sign a bill that will modernize and elevate Hawaii's film industry by broadening access to our film tax credit, kalamai, and expand resources for production support. Facilitated questions and answers with media will follow promptly after remarks conclude, and the formal bill signing will commence shortly thereafter. Without further ado, it is my honor to welcome Governor Josh Green.
Good to see you in this way. That's so great. Man. Aloha, everyone. Definitely a great moment. I'm so pleased to be signing this bill today. People have asked us, how can we do something right as far as economic development goes? This is one of those ways. It's been far too long that we've talked about that, but not really landed something. And so we're going to talk about Senate Bill 2580. This is our Senate bill, full collaboration between the House and Senate, that expands our film tax credits. Why are we doing this? Well, first off, a couple mahalos. Mahalo to Senator DeCoit, chair of the committee in the Senate on Economic Development, Representative Iligan, thank you, brother, chair in the House. We're going to thank some other people here also. Moses, thank you for being here. Incredible. We absolutely fell in love with the show. Pa'a, where's Pa'a? Yeah, sweet. All the way back there. To create art like this and to showcase Hawaii, it's just amazing. Brian, thank you. Thank you, dude. You know, amazing. Angie's here, too. And all of our friends, Teamsters and ILWU, thank you for making it clear the value of this for people. Why are we doing this? We're doing this bill. We're expanding our capacity to have film, to have art in Hawaii, because it showcases Hawaii. It showcases Hawaii in a magnificent way with actors who can bring to life stories, with writers who can tell stories that people haven't heard before. It gives people an opportunity, if they're young, to go into another industry that is so valuable for us here in Hawaii. It's extraordinary, and we want to do more of it, and that's what we're going to do. So for a long time, people have said we should do this. Now we've done it. This is relating to motion pictures, digital media, and film production, all for the tax credit. Let's jump to the next slide. Okay, so what does this bill do? It expands the tax credits to a more meaningful number, $60 million, and we want to keep going up because doing that means that there's opportunities to bring more films, more attention, more investment into our state. It amends the aggregate annual tax cap, but also increases per film. It also makes sure that when we use local workforce, you get an extra bonus. That was very important as a message that came from those who actually work in Hawaii, so that our young people can go to the University of Hawaii, study film, they can intern under incredible actors and writers, and they can stay here to do their films instead of having to go to other states where there have been, robust tax credits. But why would you go to a state in the Southeast or perhaps across the ocean overseas if you could come and do the whole film here? And I know that that's what we want to do. And we love our neighbors across the Pacific, but our heart is here. And that's why we're thankful for you, Pa, and everyone. We're going to go to one more slide here. So this increases the scope of qualified production, amends the list of eligible productions, and streaming is a big deal now. It's obvious with the success that Apple has had with our friends that we can't just be monolithic in our view of what film is. Art is a little bit different. There's a picture of me of John Wells. John is another extraordinary filmmaker, which we should mention. He's in TV. He's made shows like West Wing. He made shows like The Pit. That's where I trained for my medical practice. Now I'm watching it on TV. It is wild. But we can do these kind of programs here, and he's aware of that, just like our other leaders, our writers, our directors, our producers. And it also is going to exempt certain reimbursements so that we can get it straight for the film team, so it's simpler. We want to really invite them. So anyone who's watching today, know that Hawaii is a friendly place to make your magnificent television programs, your films. Come do it here. You don't need to go to Georgia when you can do it here. You don't need to go to another beautiful tropical place when you can be just around the corner in Hawaii. And so it's our job to try to make that possible for our workers. One more slide. Okay, that's just the obligatory hug because we're grateful. We're grateful to all of you guys. You know, we can't do this at the legislature. All we can do is try to be good partners. And that's really what we wanted to demonstrate. So this is the first large step we feel in years to make it more possible to have this be a signature part of economic diversification. You've heard me talk about it before. We have our DBED leadership, film, art, sports, new things. In addition to energy, we're going to really expand what our economy can do. Now, you've heard enough from me. There is a special guy, which I have to say gets a lot of attention in my household from First Lady, the first daughter. Even Sam seems to like this guy, and his name is Jason Momoa. He has been wonderful. He's been generous with us. I have to say that obligatory butt shot in the first episode of Chief of War looped everyone in to this state. And that, as much as anything, shows that Hawaii is the place to be filming. So, without further ado, I think we have a teed-up message from the superstar, a.k.a. Jason Momoa, a.k.a. Aquaman. Here you go, Jace.
Aloha, everyone. This is a huge win to have this tax incentive bill pass. I'm sorry that I can't be there. I'm actually shooting Minecraft 2 right now. But I'll be done in 2 weeks. I'm coming home so we can celebrate. Hugs and kisses. Listen, we have a lot of talent in Hawaii and a lot of skilled local labor and a lot of stories to share. What we've needed is the opportunity to tell those stories here at home. Working on Chief of War reminded me what's possible when we invest into our own people and we trust our local voices to lead. Mahalo to Governor Green for your support, to the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, and to the Hawaii State Legislature. Also, thank you to Angie, Brian, Suka, my team. I love you. But I especially want to mahalo Senator Linda Coit for getting us here. You've been championing this bill for our industry since visiting us on set back in 2022. You told us you were going to get us there, and you did it. I love you. Mahalo. And lastly, mahalo to the Hawaii film community, to the crews and the unions. This bill is an investment into Hawaii's future, our creative community, and the next generation of storytellers who will share our islands with the world. This is massive. It's everything. Mahalo nui loa. I look forward to coming home and bringing more films and more movies and more TV shows. I love you. We celebrate soon.
So I can't do a better introduction for Senator Coit than having Jason do it, but she has been our champion along with just such wonderful leadership in the House. You guys have been great, so please come on up and share your manao.
Aloha. It's a hard act to follow, but you would look good in the mala and the butt cheek stuff as well. Thank you all for being here. Where do we start? Jason, you crazy. But that's what Hawaii is about. It's about film. It's about storytelling. I just want to, first of all, extend my sincere mahalo to the Senate President, Senate leadership, my colleagues in the legislature, the members of the Senate Economic Development and Tourism Committee. Governor Green, we did it. We made it here. And everyone who helped make this day possible. This has truly been a team effort. I'm grateful for the collaboration and commitment that had brought us all here today. Today is a day that has been long time coming. Nearly 3 years ago, during our first Muddy Boots Day on the set of Chief of War, I stood alongside our local film crews, production companies, small businesses, and industry partners. I heard firsthand, directly from Jason himself, from Brian and Angie, as we stood there raining pa'a, mahalo, for the storytelling and getting it straight with me about what the industry is all about. These production companies and small business and industry partners, we heard firsthand the incredible opportunities this industry creates for Hawaii and the challenges we face in remaining competitive. That conversation stayed with me. Since then, we introduced this bill every legislative session because I believe we could do better for our local workforce and our local businesses and our economy. It wasn't always an easy road, but through collaboration and perseverance, we're here today to celebrate Senate Bill 2580 becoming law. This legislation is much more than a tax credit, as you heard from Governor. It is an investment in Hawaii's people. By creating an additional incentive for production that hires at least 80% local workers, expanding eligibility to include streaming productions, strengthening accountability, and extending the program to 2038. We're ensuring Hawaii remains competitive while creating more opportunities for local families and businesses. The impact extends far beyond the film set. Every production supports our camera crews, electricians, our carpenters, our drivers, our caterers, our musicians, artists, hotels, restaurants, retailers, transportation companies, and countless small businesses across our islands. These are good paying jobs, and that allow our residents to build careers and remain here at home. Just as importantly, this bill creates more opportunities for local filmmakers, local talent, and local voices to share Hawaii's stories, our culture, and aloha with audience around the world. Before I close, I want to thank the many unions that have advocated. I wanted to recognize a few individuals and teams whose leadership and dedication helped make today possible. Mahalo to the members of our Senate Committee, Economic and Tourism Committee, and our outstanding committee staff, as well as the House Committee, for your hard work, your thoughtful review, and commitment to strengthening Hawaii's creative economy. I also want to extend my deepest gratitude to my own staff, whose countless hours and unwavering dedication and belief in this bill helped carry it through every step in the legislative process. Your work behind the scenes often goes unseen, but today is a reflection of your commitment and perseverance. Mahalo to Senator Donovan Dela Cruz, Chair of Ways and Means, and his exceptional staff when we first started working on this bill, when I got back from the Big Island with Jason and Angie and Brian and Pa'a. His staff stood side by side as Stacey Ferreira was one of the lead people helping, as well as you, Dane. Your partnership and leadership were instrumental in getting Senate Bill 2580 across the finish line. Mahalo to our well-known director, Jimmy Tokioka, who could not be here today, for his leadership and commitment to strengthening the creative industry division and ensuring it remains focused and on moving Hawaii's film industry forward. And I also wanted to mahalo Majority Leader Sean Quinlan for recognizing the importance of Senate Bill 2580 to the people of Hawaii, and for your leadership in helping guide this measure successfully through the House, along with Committee Chair. I also want to give a special shout out to the team at ILW, Chris West, Brandon Wolf, and Brenton Wailehua. While these individuals may not be their industry, you recognize what this legislation means for Hawaii and its working families alongside the Teamsters. Thank you for standing shoulder to shoulder with our film community and for being such strong advocates for local jobs. Your partnerships and your commitment to Hawaii's workforce help make this day possible. And finally, to Hawaii's film industry, thank you, and thank you for showing up after a year, for your testimony, your advocacy, and your belief in this vision. I'll never forget receiving more than 400 pieces of testimony in support of the bill. That incredible show of unity demonstrated how important this legislation is to the people whose livelihoods depend on this industry. This bill belongs to all of you. Thank you, Jason, for your steadfast hard work and all that you bring back to Hawaii. Moses, thank you for being here. Together, we have taken an important step toward creating more opportunities for local families, strengthening the small businesses, and investing in our workforce, and ensuring Hawaii remains one of the world's premier destinations for filmmaking. Mahalo for believing in the vision, for the partnership, and mahalo for helping write the next chapter of Hawaii's film industry. The cameras will keep rolling, our local talent will continue to shine, and because of what we have accomplished together, Hawaii's greatest stories and our best productions are still ahead of us. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Senator DeCoite. Finally, please welcome Representative Gregor Iligan, Chair of the House Committee on Economic Development and Tourism.
Gov, I think the only thing I got out of your speech was butt cheeks. Aloha. I gotta say, I have a speech prepared, but I'm very moved by everybody here. And the first thing I really want to say is thank you to everyone who made this possible. Just like any movie or any production, it takes a crew. It takes a director, it takes the mics, it takes the stage workers. And this legislation was made possible by many of you. I want to say I took a very small part in this whole process. Our leadership team with Speaker Nakamura was our director. Our leadership team with Sean Quinlan, our majority leader, took the assignments and led the charge. And our chair for finance with Chris Todd ensure that there was funding in the House side to match what's needed. But most importantly, I really got to thank my committee members in the House. I see a couple of them here. Representative Adrian Tam, who was very integral to making sure we had that provision of 80% local hire in that legislation. I see Representative Shirley Templo, who wanted to make sure it's not in this bill, but it's another bill that helps with the industry, informing any stakeholders when there's a production here. And on top of that, reducing barriers in the film studio to allow the next tenant to come in smoothly. We also have Ikaiko Hasi, who pushed out legislation to make sure that that increase of the 50 to 60 happens. And we have Joe Gideon, who are a Republican representative, who also pushed for the industry. He's no longer here in our House, but Representative Daniel Holt, and of course, who came into the committee later is Representative Kao Yamashita, as well as our newest Representative Cove. Those members made that happen because they were part of the whole process. I see many people here in this room who was there in our meeting the beginning of the year advocating for these changes. And your work made all this possible. And this is not just a small step. This is a leap forward for the industry. And that just warms my heart so much. And this would not be possible without our greatest champion, Chair on the Senate, Lynn DeCoit, who always had pushed for this issue from the start. Chair Donovan Dela Cruz, who was able to secure the funding on the Senate. And of course, my favorite senator in the Senate, Glenn Wakai, who's always cheering me on as I try to move forward but stumble here and there. I just voice out and commend these individuals who's in the legislature, but they're just a small part of the process. The real work happens in DBED and governor's leadership in making sure the execution of these provisions happen. And our stakeholders, who's always there with the people, ensure that we have local jobs and keep our economy forward. This is one part of diversifying our economy. There's so many people to name. And I want to name all of you, but Gov is going to pull my neck because I'm taking too much time on this podium. So I just want to say, Kevin, thank you. Holly, thank you. Angie, thank you. Brian, thank you. You've been there. Moses, you're the actor that I know because you were the local talent that showed up. there's just so many people to thank. I mean, I don't see SAG-AFTRA here, but President of Ian, loss made it possible for Hawaii. As an example, it's possible to have local talent trained and doing work here. So without breaking down and getting too emotional, and haven't read any of my speech that I prepared, I just want to say thank you, everyone. This was possible because of your work, and I'm just glad to be a small part of it. Thank you.
At this time, we will commence the Q&A with media, starting with Jasmine, PITV4.
Thank you for putting me on the spot. All right. So the first question is, where did the 5% increase in tax credit come from, and will it make a difference?
The answer is yes. The money's come from our general funds. You know, we were talking about what the impact of a bill like this is when you put $10, $15, $20 million out into the field. There's going to be a lot of tax credit this year because of some of the circumstances of the bill, some tax credits that were taken before. The benefit is not just that money going to hire local people, but also, Lynn and I were talking about it just moments before we came out. Imagine what it is as far as value when an hour-long program, TV program, highlights Hawaii and they see Hawaii in all of its glory. It's millions and millions and millions of dollars every time that's streamed. Every time a movie, a major motion picture goes out and is seen by 15, 20, 30 million people, they see Hawaii and they want to come to visit our state, which then kind of amps our capacity for tourism. That's an additional benefit that's very difficult to quantify, but is there at all times. So this is an enormous return on investment for the hard work that was done. And we do intend to have you, Hiro, and others spend more time quantifying that specifically so that in the coming years, we can continue to amp this tax credit and then double and triple and quadruple the return that we get for our state. Nothing is better, though, than hearing from the legislators knowing that it's hiring young people from their district. I mean, that's really the best part of all.
Thanks, Governor. You mentioned the number, I think you're referring to, $60 million being a meaningful number. I'd like to see it go higher.
Yes.
How high and when? I think there was a $100 million number thrown out in some legislation, but how high would you like to see it in?
Well, I'd like to celebrate today the $60 million. If I'm not mistaken, there is a balloon benefit this year because of the timing of the bill. Someone want to remind me of that number? So we believe there will be about $90 million of benefits this year because of the timing of productions and the passage of the bill. We kind of wanted to catalyze the industry, especially because, honestly, these conversations that we're alluding to really matter. When we hear and other people say, I've got a script already, we don't want to delay, because if we have that moment where he can then do his film here, we want to essentially outdo other markets. And everybody wants to do their films here when they're from here. So that extra $30 million we believe will be very meaningful. And if I'm given the opportunity to continue to serve, each year I will humbly ask the legislature to see what more we can afford. As you see, we're adjusting some tax credits. Some tax credits are going down where they haven't had quite the positive impact that we were getting as we wanted, and others needed to go up. That's the process of government. I would expect us to propose increases each year, but it will be up to the Finance and Ways and Means chairs to decide if we can afford them.
Up next, we have two questions.
Governor, I asked what has had to compete with other tropical locales like New Zealand, also other states, California or Georgia. My first question is, what is it? What do you really think is going to boost the production when we're competing with those places? And guidance yet since word has gotten out with the new incentives? Thank you.
Sure. Well, my understanding is that California may fall into the ocean and we're going to take over Greenland. So we have a very good opportunity to outcompete those two. Now, New Zealand is a tough nut to crack because their labor is less expensive in some cases. What I can tell you is this. It would be wrong for me to betray confidence as a lot of the guys have shared with me what their plans are. But needless to say, Chief of War deserves to have another go because it was magnificent. And so I think that's an easy one for us to choose. Also, Jason, and we will leave it to him because he also, as principal talent, has to choose when he does which films. He's told me there are several films that he would like to do and several stories that they've worked on together that go even further beyond the Hawaii story. I think that you're going to see a series of TV shows, hopefully from Mr. Wells also in Hawaii. It just stands to reason that we can anchor Hawaii like we have in the past with things like Hawaii Five-0, Magnum, and so on. Really what it comes down to is being a welcoming climate. If you don't see the tax credit expanding, if you don't see us working in a collegial way with the hotels, the transportation companies, all of whom have decided they're going to chip in, give good rates, make sure that it's very affordable to move equipment between the islands, all those things have to be a reality for people to come into the state of Hawaii, and they are now. That's, just so you know, that's why having ILWU here and the Teamsters here is not a small thing. They are very central to the completion of these projects. And so when we're all on the same team, we can get these films done. I would leave it to our producers and directors that, perhaps after I speak, if they want to share any things in production, but it's really precarious for me to say anything because I don't want to jinx it. I think today is the day where we see this balloon increase to the $90 million for this year. Believe me, that's going to be taken advantage of. No one's going to leave that money on the table.
Mahalo. That concludes media Q&A. At this time, I'd like to invite our legislators and key stakeholders to come up to the podium for bill signing. In about a minute, we're going to feel extremely safe. Watch. You'll feel extremely safe in a little.
If you had cried a little bit, they would have guaranteed production in Pahoa.
I can't fake it, though. It's like tears.
Yeah, if I'm in a Malo, we're going to lose film work, I think. One more comment before I sign this bill. You see the leadership here and the collegiality here, but I was receiving text messages this morning from other major producers and actors. For instance, you guys all know who Lebowski is, right? Jeff Bridges. His people even texted me to thank us for this because they're also planning films here in the state and on Big Island. So this is an opportunity for us all, but these guys have been our stars. So with that, it's my honor to sign Senate Bill 2850 relating to the motion. 25. Oh, sorry. Strike that. Little dyslexia. Senate Bill 2850, totally different. I vetoed that bill. The Senate Bill 2580 relating to the motion picture, digital media, and film production income tax credit. Mahalo, guys. You guys were fantastic. Aloha. AI thing puts me in a Malo, I'm going to object. One more right here.
Okay, this formally